what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decisions on how to lead themselves.
Good day, viewers. We want to welcome you to another episode of Christians in Politics. It's coming to you from your daily station, Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. We are happy to know that you are there, and we promise to bring to you today an interesting topic. What can be more interesting than a fight against corruption? We'll continue to talk about this subject until Nigeria is corruption-free. We believe that the problem of corruption can be solved one day if every one of us put our hands together and work for it. So we'll be talking on fight against corruption. And, well, I'm your host. You already know me, Venerable Joseph Unwanya. And in the studio with me today, to discuss some of the topics or the subject we'll be raising under this broad topic is Mr. Lucky Eraihweme. He's a political analyst based in Abuja here, and one of our regular customers here in the studio. Mr. Lucky, you're welcome.
Thanks for having me. Good day, viewers.
I hope you support the war against corruption.
Seriously.
Okay.
We must win.
Yeah, I trust you. Then also with me in the studio is Mr. Isiaya Yakubu. He's a politician and from Zango, Katav, Jaba constituency in Kaduna State. Very serious politician for that matter. And that's why I brought him here to join us to analyze these issues that are before us. Mr. Isiaya.
Thank you very much.
How's the political terrain?
So we're on, we're on.
It's getting hotter by the day.
Trusting God.
So we count down to 2019.
Yes, we're counting down, seriously.
Good.
Thank
now,
you.
Viewers, we, over the weekend and all that, we have several reports in the social media, in the electronic media, and what have you, about what happened again in the Northeast. That is attack on the military, and the report we have, though streaming in the social media, says about 70 soldiers were killed by Boko Haram. I was privileged to watch some of the videos, and it was really a sad one. We're going to look at it, and but before we do that, I think it is good that we have a minute silence, even in the studio, in honor of these gallant soldiers who have bowed in the cause of defending our fatherland. So can we have just a minute silence in their honor? Prayer that the souls of the faithful departed, especially those of our gallant soldiers, will rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Amen.
Well, it's a sober moment, and because these are people who have families, have children, promising young soldiers who have big future, just wasted at the battlefront. We are really like a nation already at war, and it's unfortunate. Well, let's start with the letter written by Serap. Serap is a social economic right accountability project. And Serap is a civil society, a very strong civil society. They wrote a letter to Mr. President, of recent, demanding that he should probe the military defense budget spending since 1999 till date. Do you think, Mr. Isaiah, what Serap is doing is right? That demand, do you think is wise? That we probe the defense budget spending?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the effort of Serap in writing the letter to Mr. President to probe the affairs of the military since 1999 to date. For me, my personal opinion, I believe is just that's their opinion. That's their own right to speak out. But I don't think if this thing will yield a very good fruit on that, because what had happened from 1999 to date, now who are you going to probe? Some of them are dead. Some of the top echelon of the military, ministers, some of them, I'm sure some of them are not alive. So who do you want, if you probe now, what do you do? I think we should just forge ahead and let there be sincerity in fighting this menace. This fight against this Boko Haram should go beyond one political party. It should be in Nigerian affairs. That's why I don't like being politics on this, politicizing this issue, because if there is sincerity in it, we have some good military officers, both past and present, those who are still alive, those who have served, those who have retired, those who have a broad knowledge of what security is all about. I think if the government of the day will be sincere in their own quest to fight this act of terrorism, there should be an emergency meeting on all security and call all stakeholders, devoid of political parties, being APC, SDP, PDP, and the rest. This is a Nigeria issue now. It shouldn't be a political issue. That is why if you say it's not going to politicize it, I advise that you convene a general meeting and invite everybody. I'm sure sincerity, everybody will come out and tell you his own mind. The issue of probing, if you're going to probe from 1999 to this, it's almost 20 years to that. You may get the result. What had happened? What would you want to achieve in that? Is it the money you've spent so far, or what is it? Even this year, sometimes this year, they gave about 1 billion to the military. The armed forces. What happened to it? Because what happened in Metele last week was just, I think I would just say that there's a lot of a bit laxity in our own side, because those people came with heavy arms that were even stronger than that Nigerian one.
I think that is what is necessitating this demand that Serap is making. Why is it, Lucky? Let me turn to Lucky. Why do you think we are still experiencing this, considering the huge amount of money we have spent on the military over these years? Why should we see a picture from what we saw in the videos in streaming in the social media? It's like the weapon of the attackers was far, far more powerful.
Once again, thank you for having me here. I think there's need, because now this is a disaster staring us in the face, and there's need for the military to be probed, because it helps you to know. It's like taking stock of what has been done, and that helps you to forge ahead. We can't just be spending money not knowing whether the money is going to people's pockets or the money is being spent for the purpose it was meant for.
And the full soldiers are dying.
A little one was done when Buhari came in, and see the amount that people are mentioning without knew where the money went to. You may not necessarily jail people, you may not necessarily get the money back, but it will help you to know where the money went into. We saw 2.1 billion going to a media house, this one going to this, 400 million going to somebody, person buy house in my Tama. So, but the probe have helped us to know that we may not get the money back. I think the probe should be carried out. And again, money meant for arms should be judiciously used. I know we are not funding the military enough, truth be told. Because I was reading a paper one day, the money meant for New York's Federal Fire Service, it was even bigger than Nigeria budget. I knew we are not fighting enough. We are not spending enough. But the little one we are spending, I think there is need for us to know how it's being spent and how it's being utilized. Nigeria has gone to a level where personal pocket comes first before national interest. That's where the problem lies.
Now, we we have been told all this while that, excuse me, that Boko Haram have been decimated,
Yes.
degraded, or whatever, defeated. All the vocabularies that you can think of. From what happened, don't you think that the military is losing serious ground?
You know, I'm not a security expert, but I know in security, when you tend to be at ease, that's when the enemy strikes. Fine and good, to a large extent, Boko Haram has been disseminated. For now, we have not been hearing bobbings and all the rest, which I have mentioned in the last time I came to the studio. Hey, bobbing in Eagle Square, bobbing in a radio house, bobbing in UN buildings. I think this activity now have, to a greater extent, reduced to about 2 states, if I'm not mistaken. To that extent, they have been disseminated. But this pocket of attack, government is still finding it difficult to nip it in the bud. And I think the military should sit tight. Hope they don't have most among them. Because this thing has some, we may deny it or not, it has some religious correlation.
No, many don't want to.
But you cannot run away from the fact, sir.
Many don't want to agree with that point. But from what we are saying, there could be some sympathizers.
Sir, agreeing is different, being in fact is different. You understand? You don't need to agree before something is real or
so
is true.
The point you are making now is that if there are some sympathizers within the military and within the security sympathizing with the cause of the Boko Haram, there will be leakage of information.
One information leakage can cause a disaster. So we should not rule out that angle. The military fine are trying their best. After all, how much is their salary? How much is their package?
So in other words, if this probe is to be done, I think it should not just be limited to the finances.
No.
It should also they should go deeper to find out
what is really
some
happening.
of the key incidences that have been recorded over there. How did they happen?
So let me just give you this information. I called somebody in Kaduna, he's a soldier.
Okay.
He's a lance corporal. Also on Sunday, when I was in Guadalajara Church for the debate, youth debate, carnival debate. And the boy was lamenting. I could see that this boy is not happy. Why? He said most of those people killed are from his unit. This is a family friend. That these most people killed are from the unit. That now even before they will pay them their gratuity or their entitlement, it will take years. The family will suffer. I could see that even that boy that is still in the army is not even happy.
He's not happy.
So if you send him to Zambia now, the boy will not go there.
It's already
down. This boy was crying on phone. That's not what they have done to his friends. Most of them are losing faith. When this boy was, what did they call, I don't know what they call it, is it constable? I asked, how much is your salary? He said 49,000, total package. So I said, is it 49,000 you have marauded the whole forest? He said, oh, uncle, what do I do? He's service to the nation. Before he was promoted last year to lance corporal. So how would this provide?
Mr. Isaiah, can you say the military have done enough in trying to protect the citizens? Have they really done enough?
Well, I think there's no sincerity in terms of the leadership, because just what
leadership
of the hierarchy of the military. And I think the Mr. President should go further on this thing to supervise, to be one of, if it entails that he should be the personal supervisor, to supervise
Minister of Defense.
Of course, because if this thing is going out of the hands of the Minister of Defense, for the past 3 years, a lot of people have been killed. Okay. One,
hold
take
on.
stock.
Just hold it there.
Yeah.
There's a caller, Mary from Kaduna. Mary, speak up.
Hello, I am speaking with a lot of what I cannot express. But all I'm trying to say is that keep on trying. For God will make a way where it seems to be no way. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mary.
And God will see you through in all that the effort that you are doing. The Lord will make a way where it seems to be no way.
Amen.
The Egyptians we see yesterday, we will not see them tomorrow.
Amen.
This is my prayer to all of you, and may God be with us in Jesus' name.
Amen. So thank you very much for calling in. You can see Mary was praying with a very deep passion. You can see the bleeding in her heart for this very country. I would pray that God will bring a time of refreshing again for this very country and help us to fight these enemies of the nation. Now, coming back to what we were talking, I was asking whether you feel that the military have done
They have done. The problem is the sincerity, just like what Lucky said about the issue of where is the money funds going to. Now, 1 billion was budgeted for these arms. You know very well this is a war. We are fighting a war. By the time you said you have this kind of money, you look at the highest among the ammunitions. Look at one of the highest of them that could demystify or to counter any terrorism that's come from this thing. Okay. I understand this came all the way from the church. Based on, I called somebody this morning. He told me he's in the Sambisa now. He said they came from church with about 19 vehicles, heavily loaded. And the kind of gun they came with, if they shot on this thing, the house, it burns the house completely. Now, the whole camps they have there, they were destroyed, the camp of the military. So, I think, and then the money is there. The military take the money, the hierarchy take the money, they say they buy the weapons, they go and buy half of them, or buy fake ones. And at the end, you carry it and give it to vulnerable soldiers. That you go and attack.
You talk about fake ones. Somebody also mentioned to me, said some of the equipment they have been buying over the years, they just go and buy dead equipment, refurbish them.
And then put them in the distance. And then give it to a vulnerable somebody to go there. And then they finish you. And he would tell me, when I spoke to him this morning, most of these people were killed were just, most of the soldiers are from most of these young soldiers. They finished them without any distance because they were helpless. By the time they came, they first of all targeted their own APC, among the distance, destroyed them, destroy some of their distance. Why will you now go and get your distance and start fighting back?
Mr. Loko, do you think the military really lack equipment? Is it equipment that is the problem?
You know,
as you are speaking on that, if you agree that there is a lack, I want if you can suggest some
I don't really know.
Where they can be.
I don't know whether there is lack or whether I don't have stock of what they have in the military. But my point is, when something is given to you, use it judiciously. You know, there's a parable in my place that says, when a dead man is being carried, if it's not your relative, it looks like a log of wood.
Yeah.
But if it's your relative, you know that somebody has just died.
There will be emotion.
So because most people they give you money, you sit here, you buy BMW, you buy Land Cruiser Jeep, you drive it in Abuja. As a general, as a brigadier. But the poor man, the poor boy in the bush, they have never bought for in their patrol van.
Now you just made.
So the sincerity of the people in charge is my concern.
You just made a point. I visited the defense headquarters one day.
Luxury cars.
And I saw the number of BMW
luxury cars
that were parked. Then I visited the defense intelligence.
It's just like that.
Is it Nigeria Intelligence
Agency?
I visited there. You needed to see the kind of cars arranged in the garage, in the compound.
Those are part of the military budgets that are only meant for arms. Because one thing that's going on in Nigeria, I've said it earlier, that personal pocket is killing the national interest of this nation. You give somebody money to buy something worth 1 billion, you look at where you can only spend 500 million and keep 500 million that they can share. And that is also affecting the military. They should not run away from that. So, we do not have the fact of what is going on. But all these things are happening.
What we are saying now is that corruption is part of what is driving us.
It's part of it. Yes. It's part of what is driving us. Insincerity.
Now, Mr. Isaiah, you are a politician but also a churchman.
Yeah.
What do you think the church should do to help the military, to help in this fight?
Well, thank you very much.
Two fights now. Yeah. Fight against corruption, fight against Boko Haram.
Well, I think the church will have, while the church is not the government, but the church has a voice. Because you speak on the pulpit, and they hear it. When they hear it, of course, they should be able to take a kind of a caution on that. I believe that's the only way the church could come and help, because you can't go further than that. Speak on it, get your facts, hint on it, and then tell the nation that this thing is not right. Because while we agree that the welfare and security is the responsibility of every government, now the soldiers in the Middle East, they are not well motivated. Their allowances, some of them, they don't give them all, or they cut it. Do you know in the military now, in the army, based on information, that they don't even pay them through, they would rather collect the money cash and go with it, and then be giving them hand to hand. Meanwhile, they will take their own, which is very unfortunate. I'm sure those people are not happy when they are in the operation. They are not really happy. But I think Mr. President is now up to him. Look, declare a state of emergency. What do we do on this issue to curb this thing? Because
now, Mr. Shah is just talking. I wanted to put that to local. Let me put it to you. What should be, you have the privilege to advise Mr. President, what should he do in respect of this Boko Haram war, the killing of these very soldiers in particular? I mean, what do you think the step he should take?
First and foremost, the president should know that we are fighting a war. I don't think they are seeing it as a war. They are seeing as if these are our citizens, we should not be killing our citizens. No. We should see it as a war.
But that would be, I mean, how do I put it? Because this, Mr. President at a forum in abroad said most of the people coming to commit this havoc are people trained by the former Libya president and all that. So that automatically means that they are not citizens of Nigeria.
sure they are not.
So we should see it as a war and fight it like a war, not with kid gloves, one. And when somebody is placed in a place and you are responsible for so and so thing, you are not able to deliver, then the person should be fired.
A woman was speaking in one of the, I've forgotten one of the television stations yesterday. I just ran into her speaking, and she was saying that she's a Muslim lady on hijab, and wrote a human rights activist. I've forgotten the name. She was saying that we cannot continue to fight, and he sends soldiers to Sabisa. We should ask these Boko Haram what they. Do you share that idea? We should ask them what they want.
No, sir.
You don't share that idea.
If you ask Boko Haram what they want, I will tomorrow set up my camp. You will ask me what I want. You will set up your camp tomorrow. They will ask you what you want. Are we going to keep asking what people want? Is that to rule a nation?
What is your idea on that?
Insincerity of the part of governance. That is what triggers all these things. Because when you file up there's corruption, somebody feels it's been such a, this is the way I want to make it as a business. But I don't think to negotiate them, except it becomes absolutely necessary. But for now, you have the leverage of getting enough weapons to fight them back. As
we leave this subject on Boko Haram, what is Boko Haram looking for?
So let me just ask you a sharp question before you go to that question. Okay. When the Igbos broke away, 1966 or 67, did you ask them what they want?
I'm the one to ask you.
No, I'm the one to ask you. Did you ask them what they want? Okay. You fought and brought them back. So why can't you also use the same Z to fight Boko Haram and defeat them and bring their knees down? So we should fight this like a war.
From the little information I've gathered so far, what Boko Harams are saying is that Western education is evil. Okay, they don't want it.
That's what they want.
What they are saying is that they want the country to be governed with Islamic law, Sharia, full Sharia implementation. Okay, now. Is there anything to negotiate?
If those are the things they are agitating for, they won't work.
Okay.
But now, if they go for something better,
let's leave it at that. You know, we are talking about war against corruption, and let's take another subject. Of recent, the past few weeks, there was an online report that the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, was claiming that the federal government is feeding Zazaki and 2 security guards, his wife and 2 security guards with 3.5 million naira. And once you do the simple arithmetics, it means about 116,000 naira is being spent a day. That may amount to 29,166 naira per person every day, just for feeding. Now, before we make comment on this, we need to watch a video clip on this. Yeah. Let's watch a video.
I read the same report, and I took the trouble to speak to all concerned, all the stakeholders from the Kaduna State Governor, the government, and the security organizations. And I think it's like a case where you are comparing apples with oranges. They are not the same. Now, the truth of the matter is that Zaki is currently facing a criminal trial in Kaduna, and he has not been admitted to bail. And that is a fact. So people will say, oh, the government is, not obeying court order. I've forgotten that the Zaki is actually facing a criminal trial as we speak today in Kaduna High Court. So it's not a matter of the government, not respecting court order. Two, the court order actually said that Zaki should be, remanded in prison custody. But out of magnanimity of government, I don't know whether it should be on record or off record, I'm not sure, but let me know. I think it should be off record. It should be off record. But out of magnanimity of government, the government decided, and he actually, I'm told that he actually, pleaded for that. He can't just survive in prison. Today, he lives in a residence, in a house provided by state security, where he chooses what he eats and all that. Now, and this should be off record, please. This what that is. I think you all know that it's not in any prison custody. Is a guest of the SSS because he has to be held in a very comfortable, situation. And again, it costs the government about 3.5 million naira every month to feed him.
Yeah, then you need to take me in.
Sir, I should take you here. Honestly, don't quote me, but these are the facts.
The 3.5 million naira.
I
can take 500,000.
I asked. So please, we don't want to inflame passion. We don't want to inflame passion. It's a very sensitive matter. But that's the situation. The Islamic movement of Nigeria are a different kettle of fish.
Now, you've just watched that very video. What is your immediate reaction to that video? Let me start from there.
Well, I think for me...
Because I heard somebody say that they take out to
me, it's funny. He makes fun of himself. He makes fun of himself and makes fun of the kind of leaders we have today. For God's sake, even though in the government house where the governor lives, I don't think, if at all, I wouldn't, if some of them spend up to that, and that's the kind of recklessness that we have in Nigeria. How can on earth would you tell me that an individual in a day spend about 29,000 naira? It's very ridiculous. It makes ridicule of a kind of our country, and even within FCC, the way they are talking, and the other somebody has to cut off and say he wish he would have gone to be spending 29.
Because the man is not working, he's not doing
anything. And besides that, you see, it's because you are not able to obey court orders. The court have granted him bail. Allow him to go and rest. Go there, and then you can arrest him again. But for God's sake, you take him. He's not in the prison district. You take him to a house, a mansion, and then when guarded by the SSS, and then every day. What else? If you want to make the calculation, what does he eat that amount to that? What kind of breakfast does he take in the morning? Even in the transcript,
it says
the breakfast is not more than 6,000 to 8,000 naira.
He chooses what he wants to eat.
And they just say, that's why I say they're making jest. Because if you go to one of the 5-star hotel, how much do you charge them a plate of food on the buffet?
Because many Nigerians who want to go to that kind of prison.
How much do you charge them? Because it's not more than a prison is not a good name.
No, that one is not a prison now.
That's a house.
It's a guest house.
They're just taking good care of him. Have him a good VIP treatment. He enjoys all the leverages. He enjoys this thing. I don't know if they want to. Why he has not broken down what did he spend in a day.
People are dying.
People are dying. 29,000 naira to feed somebody, and then somebody's looking for 30,000 naira maybe as an allowance to fight and defend the nation in the bush. You don't give him.
The minimum wage.
Minimum wage is
for 1 month.
For 30,000 naira. You are saying no, you cannot pay that. You rather pay 24,000 and this. So now, you see the kind of.
Do you think the minister was speaking facts here? Because if what the figure he mentioned, there is fact in it, then means there is corruption.
Sure, there's corruption.
Somebody must be pocketing something.
Somebody is feeding fat on that.
Somebody from what we are saying, somebody will build house from my Sazaki's feeding allowance. Sure,
and maybe that house tomorrow it got fire got to, it will put down by this thing because that it was an ill-gotten wealth. So it's good for some time to look for something that will justify tomorrow.
Mr. Lucky, I know that you are also a businessman. Why are you still in business if there's a place where somebody can get 29,000 per
Sir, that is the country we find ourselves. Our leaders, they are not helping us. You see politicians, you see civil servants, and those in the position of authority, they are not helping matters. He has spoken the truth and they crucify him. That is just the truth. They don't buy food first exactly from the canteen. It's a contract. And other people, I line, you have director, you have assistant director, deputy director, all they want to eat for that money. That is where we are finding ourselves. Personal pockets. I've had cost an item for somebody in the National Assembly. An item that is being sold for 250 was awarded for 600,000. And they're going to buy for every member of House of Rep and every member of Senate. What are you talking about? An item that will cost 250,000 was given out for 600,000. Because the money is going to trickle down from the clerk to the man that will lift your fire. That's the country we have seen ourselves.
In your own opinion, has war against corruption really started? Or we are preparing for the war?
The war against corruption is doing press up. It has not started.
I was asking, has the war against corruption started or we are still preparing to start the war?
The war has always been there.
Are you sure there's civil war?
Yes. But the willingness and the political will to fight it to a logical conclusion is where we are having problems. At least 2 former governors are in prison now. It's part of war against corruption. But every Nigeria should come out clean. I always say the president cannot do it alone. I don't mention an agency now that bought those items. The president don't have right over that agency. Their money has been given to them, their National Assembly. They have the right to spend it anyhow they like. You understand? The president cannot go there. If you go there, they say you are victimizing them. Because it's also happening in the ministries where his ministers he has chosen presides. So this is an epidemic. You are in the church. You don't really know what happened outside. We that are on the street understand better what happened outside. The preacher for Power Night was saying that when a policeman stop you, a policeman that is 50 years old will say anything for the boys. Just because 50 naira, your son is a 50 years old man, has son himself to a boy.
Because of 20 naira. 20
naira. That's the level we have got. So it's an individual thing. That policeman can tell not to take that 50 naira, and they will not die of hunger. I can tell not to give him. But if I don't give him and the trigger goes off, what happens?
There's a caller from South Africa.
In the Nigeria issue, but I think Nigeria should have some and speak out clearly that this government here is not going to look at corruption. You have to stand up with embarrassment for people outside. All you are hearing this is embarrassing to us. You have to be the truth. Please, you have to pray the truth. You have to, this thing should go. Please. It's costing us. Look of our time is costing us. It's embarrassing us. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Tony. Pastor Tony calling from South Africa, and he said these leaders should go. He said what they are doing is embarrassing to this.
Sorry to say, even of these leaders go, the next batch that are coming, we have a governor that is 40 years old though. What is he doing in his state? 40 years old is an old age. It's a young age. What is the best doing in his state at 40? Is a governor. Is it better than the 70 years old ruling in the state? These are basic facts. Do you know that even people gaining from that 3.5 million can even advise the president, don't allow Zazaki to go? The president will never know why they are advising him not to go. Not that maybe they're making 1 million every day or 2 million every day on his head. That's the country we are.
That means we need a president who to a large extent knows what to do.
Now maybe the Ghana option will be better for us. Jerry Rawlings treatments. That's the only thing that will solve Nigerian problems. Sir.
You're talking of a revolution.
You don't ask a boy in my village one day, 14 years old. He said, I want to be a politician. I said, why? 14 years old. He said, because I want to ride big jeep. Going to see them passing. Primary, it was in SS2. Even like GSS2. Already thinking that for you to ride black jeep, you'll be a politician.
That is even corruption of the mind already.
Already. And it's almost like a you don't get anything free in Nigeria. It's a politician, ask him what he went through, how much he spent. So if he has succeeded in the House of Rep, he will cross his leg and money will be passing, he will not take.
No, I know Mr. Shaya will not be like that.
Do you know how much he spent? This my dear friend.
Don't corrupt Mr. Shaya because Mr. Shaya, I know his stand. Mr. Shaya, do you hear what Mr. Locke is saying?
Thank you very much. What I would rather say in Nigeria that last time I spoke to you, I said it's a systemic problem.
Yes.
Because it started right from the grass. Now, if you want to go and contest election now,
you must give money.
If we come to, I'm just coming to pay a visit, just to come and visit you, to familiarize myself with you. If I don't give you 1 naira, I say you just came to give me, I didn't even drop anything.
Yeah.
That's what they would say, it's not fair.
It's not serious.
Just try to get other 1 or 2,000 naira to give him. And you started like that way. And I said, no, sometimes I don't have money, let me go and get it. If you say no, fine, it's not a do or die affairs. But however, the corruption have eaten deep. I don't know how to fight this corruption. If General Buhari felt is somebody that stands against corruption, and today he's still having difficulties. I don't know who will be able to fight out. So I think it's better the Nigerians, all of us, devoid of age, devoid of anything, let's not make it within our heart that look, we're here to fight just an endemic, a common enemy, so that we'll be able to get a better country. Otherwise, we don't have a country. If in any case, election alone, we're budgeting about how many, 270 billion. To conduct elections. Yes. That is what I mean. And I ask, what do you think you are providing?
Do you think Mr. President is not aware that they are feeding?
Of course, it's, once you have so many people that advise you, when you have so many people that talk, this one will bring his advice, this one will bring advice. At the end, you will get confused. They will tell you, well, this one will do this, will do that, and he want to get a free and fair election. He will go by it. But honestly speaking, those monies are too humongous. And for me, they're just how much are I spending 29 billion on security on that day, just and then spend about this on card readers that you have already. Or that is, what else do you think you are going to do? So, and then other people are dying here. Some people cannot even afford to pay their school fees for children. Some cannot even afford to pay for medical bills.
Now, the other painful angle to this is that this is taxpayers' money.
Sure.
And when shop owners, artisans, all these people that are just trying to start life, when they tell you the number of tax they are now paying, people come with different kind of receipts. Some of the receipts are already signed down and printed. So when the money may not
go there. So that's the say it's a systemic problem.
Okay. There's one Mr. Victor from Benue. Victor, can talk to us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I am Victor from Boko.
Speak up.
Yeah, you're talking about really, can you get me?
Yes.
Really, the word about the Dadaki something, I think we Christians have a lot of work to do. Because we have been praying on daily basis for good leadership in Nigeria. And when it comes to election, even we Christians join hands with those people that will not take their rights and also vote them. And apart from that, sometimes when we want to do the right thing, people in our state here will also be kicking against us. How can you tell me that the feeding for somebody is about 3.something million? If you want to take that money to pay people, do you see how that is it? So I seriously appreciate the work you people are doing there. We have to enlighten our people that after prayers, we also have to value our people. Don't just speak against our people and say that they are not good. You can't just say your baby is not good and you prefer another person baby. So I think it is good for us Christians also to appreciate and to also help our Christian brothers, because if we help them and they are there, at least we will have something to talk. But if we don't have anybody there, how can we manage to talk?
Okay. Thank you so much for the call and the advice. He is saying that there's need for us to encourage Christian brothers who are ready to maintain their integrity, to encourage them to go into the corridor. But I think we are going to stop at this point and observe some break before we continue.
We want to thank you for always tuning in to our numerous value-adding and impactful programs. We cannot overemphasize your comments and reviews on our social media platforms. They've been really encouraging and shaping us to do better. My name is Samuel Iyola. In the course of improving our quality and coverage, we have upgraded our broadcast format from MPEG-2 to MP4. This is to improve the quality of the video you watch and also enable you, our esteemed viewers, to watch us anywhere you are in the world using your mobile phones. To keep watching ACNN, the simple step you need to take is to perform an auto scan on your HD decoder. If you don't know how to go about this, just follow these simple steps. Press menu on the remote controller of your decoder. Select installation menu. Press OK. Scroll down to auto scan and press OK. What you now have on your screen is the list of several satellite presets scannable on your free-to-air decoder. Just scroll down until you locate Intelsat 20 with angle 68.5 degree east and press OK. If you want to delete all existing channels on your decoder and scan them again, choose the Yes option. Else, choose No to add new channels to the existing ones. Press OK and sit back while your decoder scans through the available channels. Your decoder will automatically quit this screen when scanning is completed. If this is not the case, press Exit button until you get out of the menu screen. Go to the list of available channels by pressing OK and search for the new ACNN channel with the TV suffix. That's all. If you find this procedure difficult, contact any satellite dish installer around you. However, if you don't have a free-to-air decoder that supports this format, then you may need to get another decoder that supports this by contacting any satellite dish installer or vendor around you. Well, we're happy to inform you that you can now watch all our programs on your mobile devices as well as your laptops. Just visit our website at acnntv.com/live from any device. And you can also watch us live anytime, any day via your laptop by logging in to facebook.com/ACNNTV and click on the live TV link on the left hand side of your screen. Always remember that we will at all times bring to you the undiluted Word of God. Stay blessed.
Let me tell you, there is no nation where there is no political class. In fact, some nations powerfully package their political class so that the commoners don't fight. For 1,000 years now, the United Kingdom have not known civil war. Why? Because they created a parliament for commoners and they called it House of Commons. You can't be in that house if you are part of the aristocrat. In fact, if you are an aristocrat and you want to go to the House of Commons, you were required to renounce your lordship or peerage. That's what happened to a gentleman called Tony Benn. He came from one of those lord this, lord that, so he renounced it. So they created the House of Commons for commoners and the House of Lords for those who are above. So you always have a political class. But the commoners began to find a way to have a voice, to speak out. So if you are watching this, we can't keep blaming people for running the system. You also join the system. And then if somebody says, hey, but if you don't have a political godfather, go and find one. Are you shocked? You want to know why? Why? In the Bible, there are godfathers. When Daniel got to Babylon, he could not achieve anything until a man, Daniel chapter 1, until a man called Ashpenaz became his godfather. Because Ashpenaz has the ear of the king. So the Bible says anything Ashpenaz told him and his friends to do was what they were doing. And that's how they began to rise. And began to rise until they took over the system. Are there political godfathers in other nations? Yes, sir. Obama was an intern. Bill Clinton was an intern of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. There is never a president of the United States of America who was not an intern under some president somewhere. There is no prime minister in the United Kingdom who was not an intern under somewhere. We call it godfather, they call it intern. Somebody to hold your hand and say, Omo wa ni o, he's our son, let him do it. So sometimes we've also bandied some words that have limited us.
Well, viewers, we welcome you back. We are still here in the studio with Mr. Lucky Eraihweme and our brother, Mr. Ishaya Yakubu. We are talking on the issue of corruption, and you just watched a video where one of the popular men of God in our time just spoke about Godfatherism, and he made reference to the scriptures to buttress his point. Now, let me ask, do you think something's wrong with what Ashimolowo was saying?
There's nothing wrong with that. But it depends on how, Nigerians, Nigerian factor, that when you have a Godfatherism, it's a matter of somebody want to anoint you and then keep you there and then make sure you have a bargain with him. You have a deal to play with him. That if I make you a governor, every month, this is what you pay into my account. And that's why I feel it's not too good in Nigeria. But however, if you have those who are genuinely and sincere people that will take you, look, I am putting you there so that you can better the society, so that you can make people feel happy of what governance is all about. That would be the best. But the kind of godfathers we have today, the way you see it in Nigeria, godfathering is always a different ball game, because I remember some people say you should go and take oath, you go and do this, you go and swear, you go and, so many things you do, so many funny things there.
Okay, now, Mr. Lucky, let's move now. Well, it's still the same topic. We might be using different language. How does this godfatherism affect the emergence of party candidates for different offices?
Well, the godfatherism, they muzzle everything and take it by force. And if you're not strong enough, you can't fight them. In the last,
let me ask Lucky. In the last, I wanted to use the word selection of a party primary. It's close to the word selection of people who will go and represent each political party. That is party primary. Who were the godfathers? You are laughing. You don't know them.
I'm not a politician, but I'm in Nigeria. I don't operate from the moon. The issue of godfatherism has always been there. With my little experience, I can make some references. Even in church, we have godfathers. I'm a godfather to some children in baptism. My duty is to nurture them in the Lord. It's just, even in spiritual life, you have this my spiritual godfather. Somebody that mentor you spiritually.
You are my son in the blood, so I'm your
godfather. So so
there's nothing wrong with godfatherism.
Awolowo was Abrosali's godfather. Because Abrosali's mother was from the West, a Yoruba woman. And that helps draw Ali to Awolowo. And Awolowo was virtually the person that pushed Ali to become governor. Ali was a gentleman, a lecturer at university.
No, and I think if you refer to Ali of blessed memory, he was a governor with
so I'm coming.
I mean, with some
being a godfather is not a crime. It's now what you do with it that is the issue. I've always told you in Nigeria, personal interest supersedes national interest. The governors we have today is about personal interest. You get there, settle me. But the godfather that you have in other countries is go there and start from where I stopped and do better than me. That is the difference.
Who were the godfathers in the last party primary?
No, it depends on who is contesting. It depends on you have godfather in the local level. Also, you have godfather in the national level. So the godfather in APC.
You are a layman in this matter.
No, sir.
Hold on, Mr. Ishaya.
The godfather in APC.
I will come back to Mr. Ishaya. Who were the godfathers in the last party primary that was done throughout the country?
Well,
from your observation
like
as a
what
politician.
I observed on the godfathers, in most of the districts, they say they have stakeholders. And the stakeholders will decide on who would represent them. The stakeholders will decide on who will be the governor. And once they decide, take their decision, it binds on everybody, and they will tell everybody to follow suit. So by the time you have, even though it's a matter of match naira to naira, you will just be making spending money in futility, except any otherwise. So once they say this and this and go, the party hierarchy too, the leaders of the party, some were the one that took decisions, and then there are some past leaders that are quite strong. There are some that have been funding the party. They still make a very good, strong decision. Just like what happened in the PDP's convention in Port Harcourt. Ordinarily, it was supposed to be in Abuja. But the people that were strong, that were feeding the pipe, said, look, take it to here. And then even when they said to bring it here, they treated them. So, but because there was power play and power supersedes power, that's why it becomes
and dollar play. It
becomes a distance. So, well, I didn't see dollar there because I know they went to vote. People went to vote.
Can Godfatherism be linked with corruption, Mr. Locke?
Godfatherism, sir, if handled properly, cannot be linked to corruption. See what Oshomole said, that even Obama was an attempt. That's not corruption. It's what you do with it that matters. If you send me somewhere because I'm close to you, you have not done wrong. It is what we are not do with it and what you not do with it that determine what I'm doing is right or wrong. Naturally, if I want to send somebody a message, I should be to send somebody I know and somebody I trust. It's a natural thing. Sir, if I'm a governor today, if I want to take chief of staff, I will take somebody I know. I will not go and bring somebody from Niger. I bring my chief of staff I don't know. But it's time for the person to do the right thing, and for me, that's a point to do the right thing. Godfatherism is not bad, but what do you do with it? What are you doing with it?
Many APC members, in particular, are aggrieved after the primary. So, this last week they set up a reconciliation committee, and as at yesterday, I heard that many of them who were denied ticket, who believed they won, but were not given the ticket. They believe they won in the primary, but other people were given the ticket. So they are demanding that either they give them back their ticket or they give them an appointment. Do you think there was serious corruption? Why am I'm zeroing on APC? Because this is the party in power that came on board with one of the agendas they said they were going to pursue is war against corruption. That's why I asked at the beginning, has the war started or we are just prepared? Do you think there was corruption? Because look at even the cost of purchase of form. Many people were screened out. Then you begin to wonder, why does a party need such volume of money to control, just to mop from people? If you ask people to buy a form with 40-something million or whatever, do you expect that at the end of the day we not want to? Okay, you will answer that after Boko has spoken from Lafia. Boko, you can have the floor.
Hello.
Yes, speak up, Mr. Bako.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. You people are well done.
Thank you.
This your program is very interesting.
That is good.
As we talk of Godfatherism, it is good. But in Nigeria, if they brought somebody, if people want him, they can elect him. If they don't want him, they will elect any other person. But the people will not allow it, those in government, they will not accept defeat. If they can be defensive of what former president did, it is good.
What did the former president do? Oh, I lost Mr. Bako. It's like the line is not going through. I wanted him to tell us what he said. If people can do what the former president did, I wanted, if maybe, I don't know whether it would be. Okay, maybe he was talking about how the former president relinquished power, considered
defeat to the opposition.
Yes.
Well,
so
I think what you're saying is that the issue of Godfatherism and the corruption you're talking about, well, why I'm not in APC, but clearly is only on the public domain that you've seen the way they played, power played. And on a good lighter note, once you know that there's a government in power, there will be an influx of people that will move to that system. And at the end, you won't be able to control. There won't be it will be a controlled problem. And that's what is playing in APC. But I think sincerely between our heart, we're supposed to allow everybody to buy phone. and then have a level playground to everybody.
So you agree that there was corruption in that very business?
Based on what they said, they have corruption. The people
many of them were even looking for the head of Oshomole to cut as the national party
somebody told me that there was a lot of power play in terms of money. They gave them somebody to pay 300 million. If you don't pay 300 million, you don't get the ticket. And this man said, I have 200 million. He went and pleaded, and the man said no until you give that this. And the person that gave 300 million took the ticket. So now I have asked, if I pay this kind of money, do you think I will not get my money back? And that is why the corruption becomes a kind of a reoccurrence that it goes from time to time.
So I think APC also need to look inward as the party.
Both the APC and PDP and other parties.
Yeah. No, I'm emphasizing because they are the party on board and the party that is say they are fighting corruption.
Sure.
Okay, now, because of time, let's leave that at that point and let's quickly look at the issue that is trending now. There is the issue of national debate by the candidates who wants to govern us. Do you think it is absolutely necessary? Let me start from the
It's very necessary. It's very necessary if that will solve the problem. Because some are coming into governance without anything. They only depend on their aides. Help me to do this, do that. And then there's nothing on.
Do you think
you're supposed to take a lead and others see, follow you from the behind.
In your own opinion,
if you have listened to one of the members of House of Reps, there's that man from Kazauri, Sony, this thing, what is his name? When he's speaking, if he has the flaw, you will see a lot of, even them they'll be laughing at him, flaws. Which means you find out that, of course, because maybe he's a person that comes from the grassroots, they want somebody to present them. But however, he has a voice. Whether you know what he's saying or he's not saying, he has just spoken what is in his mind. But you need somebody beyond that, somebody that is, at least you should be able to have a focal point on where am I going? What do I want to do for my people? What would I do to achieve this? Let him be a voice. If you don't have anything to offer.
What do you think should be done to a candidate who refused to come out for debate, to talk to
provided there's no law, there's no any law that has been enacted on that.
No, now there's no law. There's no law yet. What do you want the electorate to do?
If there's a law that binds that, if you don't come, they disqualify you.
There's no law yet. What do you advise the electorates to do if somebody refuses, when it is time, because date have been fixed for presidential candidates to come out and vice presidents to come out. If any of them refuse to come out, what do you advise Nigerian electorates to do to him?
Well, they should just know that person there's nothing.
He has nothing to offer.
He may have something to offer, but he deliberately refused to come.
Okay,
that one is not left for people to decide. Look, this man is it a good person or is not a good person? But however, the reverse may be the case.
So if there's
a law that governs
if that will be casting aspersion on the masses,
sure,
on the voters, the electorate, and so the electorate should pay the person back.
That's why I said it
by giving their vote to somebody who have come out to talk to them.
But somebody will come out and talk to them, and then he may not even do it.
That's what I wanted to say.
Somebody will come out and tell you, I'm going to do this for you.
And
like my Oga said several times that
but it's better somebody comes out to say so that you can hold him accountable.
Make little promise.
At least you can hold him accountable to what he has said.
He may decide to say it was not in reach. I didn't write it. If I said it, I didn't. You know, the way they.
We have seen people deny campaign promises in this country.
Did you say it? So what do we say about it?
It is not binding by law.
The president said
that is corruption.
The president said.
Is that
the president said, I'm going to restructure the country. But he said, I did not say it. It was the party. It was the party that said it. The party said,
no, but you in the studio, do you agree that is corruption? If you come to tell people something and at the end you refuse to do it, is that not corruption?
It's corruption.
Okay.
But now, corruption of the mind.
Yeah. There are definitions to everything.
Okay, now, Lucky, what more can the church do in ensuring that her members participate in politics and become members of political parties? What more do you think the church should do?
The church has a lot to offer, and they have a lot to do, and it's enormous. So we really need to educate people, one, on need to join party and participate in politics. We should not stop there, sir. The church needs to disciple righteous men. You can participate in politics and be worse than an unbeliever.
Are you a good man?
I am a good man.
Now, Why is it that I'll be telling you to go into politics? You have not joined?
I have my PVC.
Have you joined any political party?
The party I joined, my guy was cheated out of the race. because he's an honest man. He was cheated out of the race in the ICC at the primary.
Is that why you are afraid to join?
I'm not afraid. Why should I be afraid? So what I'm saying is this: the church need to disciple men. We have not discipleship is key because it's a believer. It's a child of God that has been discipled, that is a true believer that can go to the office and stand for his faith. Something happened after Port Harcourt election. I asked a brother in church. I didn't see in church. I said, you know, we went to Port Harcourt. We really need to repair this country. I said, are you sure you want to Port Harcourt because you want to repair this country or because you want to repair your pocket? He laughed and ran into the church. He didn't answer that question. And he's a Christian.
So what do you think the church
should disciple men? Make them strong in faith first before you send them to the field. Because if you send anybody that comes to the church to the field, we have been having them. Oh, people were giving money to tie the Benin Road. The money disappeared. Oh, they are Christians. Oh, they are nice in the church. So it has not gone anywhere. Oh. So we have seen men like this.
They have repented and go.
So please, the church should sit that disciple men, preach to the conscience of people. I know you cannot convert everybody at once. Even no matter the preachers are, some will still want to do what they want to do, but we should not stop.
So the church should disciple
men.
I think men and women.
When I say men, in the Bible is both. You know the Bible.
Okay.
So
I think I would just
gender neutral.
Christianity is gender neutral.
I take that as your last word.
Just a brief one. I said that I would
last word.
I would just say that look, we the Christians that are in politics, let us know that we should be shall be whole accountable, even here and after the day of judgment.
Everyone will stand before the judgment throne.
God, and so if you are there, stand for the truth and stand for God. Know that one day,
you are Mr. President,
you're sure you account for it. Don't be ashamed of your own faith.
So there's a President General of the whole universe that will
judge everybody.
Even if you don't win,
that is where we want to end this program today, and it's a good point to call it a day. Okay. Now, viewers, we want to appreciate you once again, and we thank all those who called in and participated actively in this program. If you have not collected your PVC, go and collect your PVC. Get ready to vote, because your vote will count by the grace of God. Mr. Lucky, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
I will call you again, but if I discover you have not joined any political party, I won't bring you to this studio again.
My conscience is my party.
Mr. Siaya.
Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you. We'll see you next time. I remain your host, Venerable J. Onwanya.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN.